Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Darker Side Podcast, Darker Side Reviews, featuring your host, as always, Nick. Here today, listening to Moonlight Bloom and their EP, Walking Trees. First impression, as always, this band was right to say that they draw influence from 60s and 70s psych rock bands. In an instance, I felt like I needed a dab. There's a ton of neat background sounds that don't add any direct elements into the music, but rather lead to the evolution of the music's atmosphere. Sometimes, when listening closely, there's a strange distortion affecting the bass. Not sure if it's intentional or not, but in honesty, it throws me off. I think this might have just occurred in the first song, but another thing about the recording quality is that the drums sometimes peak and you can hear it, as the band or whoever mixed and mastered this release tries to cover it up with a limiter. Didn't quite work, guys, sorry. For an EP, the structure is very inconsistent. Not a terrible thing, not a deal breaker in this case, but there should be flow to an album. And when the first half of the EP doesn't even last a third as long as the second half, I begin to feel like the second half is more of a chore to listen to overall. This could just be me being nitpicky, but it's the same in storytelling, filmmaking, and more. It's the initial pace at which everything flows. On a good note, however, this music could easily fit into a festival like Woodstock. I know. It's that sort of get happy, get jazzy, and get down sound meant to alleviate the listener. I personally felt pretty laid back while listening to this release. On a side note, it's a real shame that such a pretty melody in the track called Coda only lasts 20 seconds when it could make up a very uplifting song altogether if the band actually took the time to turn it into an actual song and not just an intro into the next track, basically. The fifth track, Breath, I think really shows off how much improv this band uses to their advantage during their live sets. It's much less a formulaic rock or folk song. I can't read my own script, everybody. Yes, it's much less formulaic, but instead it acts like an old jazz track where each musician is working off of another to create an absolutely terrifying yet melodic, at ease, and scenic song. Overall, seeing as the last three tracks are dated within their titles, I think that I can safely assume these were made before the band became more structured, quote-unquote. The dramatic differences between the first and second halves of this album are incredible. Yes, the band keeps to the same overall tones and moods, but structurally, these might as well have been from two different bands that really like the 60s. It's nice, relaxing, and engaging music, and the musicianship itself is a lovely listen, but I'm still thrown off by the pace and structure of all the tracks put together. Maybe if these were made into two different EPs and the band turned Coda into an actual song, I'd feel more fit when listening to this music. Anyways, good job guys nonetheless, and remember, you asked for this.